Welcome to Psychic Primacy, a series of discussions exploring the areas of most critical psychological importance of various films and TV shows. Today, we are talking about The Dark Knight. From the start of the film, it becomes abundantly clear that Joker's essential goal is to pit everyone against each other, to turn the world at odds. Harmony is to be disrupted as chaos intervenes. He wants people to feel like rats trapped in a cage, where desperation and survival become the sole focus. When Batman finally gets alone in a room with Joker, he is told,
"See, their morals, their code, it's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other."
Not only is this one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, but it's also one full of psychological interest. And for that reason, this is where we begin to explore the psychic primacy of The Dark Knight. This is the Joker finally being truthful, confessing to his reality, after being deceptive and elusive for much of the film. He is unwittingly identifying his deep down core belief that humanity is ultimately negative, that the world is dangerous and uncaring. He knows that when humans are put in difficult situations, they will always strive for security and safety, ditching whatever values they propose to uphold. They will abandon morality altogether, sinking back to the animal level in which one only cares for their ego. It's the belief that is held by the sociopathic personality. They may have been treated like an animal themselves, in that their upbringing had no sense of right or wrong, no order, no certainty, no sense of protection against threats which lurked in the dark world. There was never any safety, comfort, or normality in their life. Their days were instead full of tension and misery. The sociopath, therefore, is unable to deal with the pain and hurt stemming from these traumatic experiences. He is unable to process his memories and make sense of how the past connects to the present. He cannot deal with all he has experienced, so instead, he projects his own unconscious pain onto the world around him.
You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. I just do things.
Joker's conscious mind has little to do with his behaviors, which is why Batman cannot plan for him the way he plans for more rational criminals. The unconscious is completely at the helm, and it's dictating Joker's perception of the world. His unconscious pain is being forced upon his surroundings, subjecting others to the chaos that lies underneath. It all equates to a man which cannot be predicted or planned for, mimicking the lack of certainty that was prevalent in Joker's youth.
They're schemers. Schemers trying to control their little worlds. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are.
But control can be seen as a form of meaning-making, an attempt at creating order out of an orderless world. The Joker, on the other hand, has denied this ability, and so he wants everyone else to sink down to his animal-like level, a place where one can no longer possess meaning, returning back to the ape level where the universe is a thing that happens to us.
I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's fair.
The dangerous part about this type of thinking is that it is actually true. The universe is chaos. It is unpredictable. It is something that is impersonal and indifferent to our own ego-oriented affairs. And so in a way, that is fair. Because there are no winners or losers involved in a chaotic universe. The cosmos contains no bias or judgment. But when we internalize this type of thinking and resonate with it deeply, like the Joker whose childhood experiences have led to this point, we leave ourselves at the whim of that chaos and remove ourselves from the ability to participate in what makes us truly human. We are stripped of our chance at engaging in a meaningless world, of making order out of the truly chaotic and absurd place we find ourselves within. It robs us of the transcendental feeling that arrives when we rise above the meaninglessness and create that which promotes life-renewing energies. During the climax of the film, Joker proposes that he is conducting a social experiment by sending ferries full of civilians and prisoners onto the water. It's a form of the prisoner's dilemma, an artificially constructed scenario in which logic and calculation are the devices used to determine a no-win situation. But the experiment leaves out the idea of mutual cooperation and empathy as alternative decision-making factors. The Joker's distorted logic makes him believe that people will have no choice but mutual annihilation, that people only care about themselves, that when their lives are at risk, they begin to see others as irrelevant. But in the final analysis, humanity proves the Joker and his logic incorrect, as cooperation, empathy, and fellow feelings for strangers proves to be the decisive, irrational factors in a logically constructed game scenario. Batman and Joker soon have their final standoff of the film, Joker being inverted to emphasize their contrasting natures. And he states,
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
The pair mirror light and darkness, a duo of eternal adversaries, forces who are constantly opposing each other, whilst fighting for the hearts of every man and woman alive. But the war is archetypal, in that it will continue forever. An endless number of scenarios in which individuals will be asked to join either side. In the end, Batman sacrifices himself in order to preserve the symbol of heroism that the city needed in Harvey Dent. Batman's highest ideal was the suppression of the lurking darkness. To protect himself, to be like an animal that was only worried about its own bodily integrity, was of little importance, especially if it meant defeating the hope, faith, and possibilities of the surrounding community. Tying us back to the psychic primacy of the film, Batman shows us the ability to transcend the animal realm from which humans have evolved, and to rise to a place where personal safety is lost, in exchange for the preservation of one's interconnected soul. Thank you for experiencing this episode of Psychic Primacy. Be on the lookout for more episodes in the series coming soon.